Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Ryan Doyle. If it's your first time joining us, I'm joined by the gentleman in the other backwards hat, Robbie Bergstone, as my man on my right hand. And the man in the green shirt is the executive producer, my younger brother, the person who sends us all the podcast notes, and we just show up on time. He makes things run. That's Connor Doyle.
We show up parlays.
Which are actually early today.
Yeah, you were. And I was gonna say, one of us has hit a parlay, the other one hasn't, but at least we show up with them. So
that's true. That's very true.
This is fair to say. If you're new to the podcast, strap in because we've been locked in tight for some of the worst, the dog days of North American sports right now. And I'm sure we'll fall off in the fall as something else comes up. But if you're returning.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I'm rambling.
Okay, Connor, I have a question about the order of the podcast notes. Could we do the parlays first? Because one of mine does first pitches at 4:10.
So yeah, one of mine is first pitch. I think is at 3, so that's fine with me. We can get.
Let's run it first.
All right, we're gonna get into the parlays. Is there some? Robbie, do you want to go first? You see me. You want to get into it?
Mine's pretty fun, not gonna lie, but I was gonna also give us an update on how we're doing. So we're gonna pick one parlay to bet on. We still haven't done that. I've already sent Ryan my $10 to put on whatever parlay we decide to pick.
Are we betting $10 per?
It was 5.
It's $10 a week. Well, y'all got it like that? $10 a week?
I don't have a job, brother.
Brother, we're gonna hit one of these, and I'm gonna start paying taxes.
Sucks to be you. I don't know what the problem is. But anyway, I'm also been keeping track of how we're each doing individually on our parlays. We're going to measure that in units, so that way, if you hit a parlay with really long odds, should be rewarded for that. Shouldn't just be a point in the point column there. So we're going to go through in our current standings of units. Ryan is down 2 units because he's not hit one yet, so we're -2.
Can we get the cumulative odds on mine? Because I had plus 2,000 last week. I was 2 for 3.
So here's the thing. I don't know if you know this about gambling, but if you don't hit the bet, the odds actually don't really matter. You still get $0. So
you're ugly.
I'm in second here. I'm at +3. My first parlay, I hit a +500, then didn't hit the second one. So we're +3 right now in terms of units. And Connor is +4.5 right now because he had a +650 last week. So Connor,
big bet,
currently in the positive by the most right now. Hopefully Ryan will lock in this week and hit a parlay.
Never can.
We'll see.
He's always got one leg.
I can go and give my parlay first. We got everything's today: 2 baseball, 1 soccer, big soccer match tonight between the U.S. and Mexico. My first leg, I got the Seattle Mariners to cover 1.5 runs against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
Paul Skeens is pitching, which means that the Pirates will not put up more than 2 runs, almost a guarantee there. And I think it's a little disrespectful for the Mariners to be not favored in that game. So I'm going to take them at +1.5. Second leg from baseball, going to take Fernando Tatis Jr. to get 2+ bases against the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
Just needs 2+ bases. I think that's good. And then the fun leg of this. The U.S. plays Mexico in the Gold Cup final tonight.
Yeah.
There's a very famous score between the U.S. and Mexico, and the U.S. wins. It's 2-0, 2-0. So I'm gonna exact bet the U.S. to win tonight, 2-0. 2-0.
So that.
That's a +3972 there for the parlay, almost +4,000. So it's a big one, but we're gonna take a swing. So
that's pretty heavy there.
That's my parlay.
Ryan, you want to enlighten us with what you've got cooked up?
No, I'm 0-2, so I think I should go last yet again.
I can't wait to pick out what leg is going to lose for you again. I'm 2 for 2 on that, which is pretty incredible. Actually.
We should keep track of that too. You're like the specific leg that's going to
so upsetting.
So I have 3-legger like we always do every week. My first one actually goes against one of Robbie's, unfortunately. I do have a USA versus Mexico leg in which I have yes to both teams scoring. I believe that
we're
both
going to run that
teams will.
back.
I do. I do
Okay.
think that it
All
happens
right.
again. I think in this tournament there's been a lot of scoring. I don't think the defense has been as stellar, and I do think with especially as important as this game is, I do think both teams put one in the net at some point during the course.
It
of
is
the
like
game.
the U.S. like C team out there, so
Yeah, exactly.
it wouldn't be surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. My second one is I have the Los Angeles Dodgers money line against the Houston Astros. There is no chance that the Astros get swept at home, especially after losing the first game 18-1, and then they lost yesterday 6-4. The Dodgers will not get swept. They will not get swept at home.
You said the Astros won't get swept.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, the Dodgers will not get swept at home. So I believe that I'm just taking the money line. I believe the cover was like 1.5. Honestly, I could see them winning by 1, but I don't think they lose again tonight. And then my last one is for a WNBA game. I have the Phoenix Mercury and the Dallas Wings. I have under 170.5 for the total points scored in that game.
You did tell us to fade you every time you do an over/under. You did tell us that.
I did say that, but
you did.
Trust me. I did win last week.
Trust.
I got it. But trust.
I will say that betting on a team to not get swept is always a pretty good bet. That's a pretty solid thing to bet on. Yeah. So I like that. Like the WNBA thing, I have no idea. Couldn't tell you.
My total is plus 529 for the whole parlay.
The whole shebang.
Okay.
Shebang.
Right.
So I really do think I'm combining some of y'all's baseball picks here.
Okay.
So I think we're all in the same train of thought, which is disastrous if we're all locked in on the side, a very similar leg. So Connor, in similarity to Houston not getting swept, I have them scoring over 1.5 runs in the first 5 innings. I think they're capable of putting two runs.
Houston or the Dodgers?
The Astros.
Who's in danger of getting swept? The Dodgers or the Astros?
The Dodgers are in danger of getting swept at home.
Oh, so I'm opposite of what Connor's thinking.
You are opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been a lot of confusion about who's about to get swept. I had to clarify.
Yeah.
Just because I think they scored 2 runs in the first 5 doesn't necessarily mean that, they're necessarily going to win the game. We shall continue on. So have that leg. So over 1.5 runs through the first 5
for the
Astros. Next is going to the Pittsburgh Mariners game, and I'm taking the under 7 alt line for that game.
Yeah.
I think it's very self-explanatory that Skeens is on the mound, and anytime that Skeens pitches, he gives up no more than 2 runs, and then the Pirates also don't score more than 2 runs. So, right. So, and my last leg, I'm taking the Cubs first 5 run line at 0.5 through the first 5 innings. They're playing the Cardinals. The Cardinals are sending out their starter Eric Fed.
Yeah.
3-8 on the year, 4.5 ERA. Last time he pitched against the Cubs, he gave up 7 runs and had to exit the 4th inning. So, interesting game today in Wrigley. Cubs always play well at home. Rivalry game. Pitcher sucks against the Cubs, so I think the Cubs will win the first 5 innings. So those put me at plus 356.
You're going a little lighter this time. You won't get one on the board.
I need a dub.
Yeah, fair.
Please.
Is there a leg that you hate, Robbie, in one of those? Do you despise one of those legs, or because you've been right so far? So
who's pitching for the Dodgers tonight? That was the only one I was like, I don't know who's pitching for the Dodgers tonight.
Well, I know
Sheehan.
He picked. Okay.
None of those are jumping out at me. I don't hate that one this time, Ryan. There's nothing that I'm like, what are we doing? So that's an improvement, I guess.
There's no Byron Buxton.
It's also like the Dodgers pitcher Sheehan has pitched 4 innings on the year, so it's not like he has a ton of.
But does that mean the Astros don't have a lot of tape on him and therefore might not be ready for what he's throwing?
Banging trash cans. The run line is at 10 right now for that game, so 2 in the first 5 doesn't sound crazy.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I actually like a lot of what we put forward. I'm trying to. I don't think that Mexico goes scoreless. I really don't think that happens, to be totally honest.
4th of July weekend. I got to bet on the.
What is the odds of your parlay, Robbie? Did you put it into the?
Yeah, it's like plus 4,000.
Yeah, he's just wild. That's crazy.
Oh.
He just threw $10 at you. He's like, throwing it on the line.
Just that leg is plus 1,300. So that was
because you exact scored
Exact
it.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I'm just saying, I have a pretty good track record with exact scores. I'm just throwing that out there.
That's true. Didn't you
He
predict the
hits
Super Bowl?
one Super Bowl exact score, which was like 24-1.
And how many of you hit exactly?
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
L dance.
I don't know. I don't know what I kind of.
Am I due?
Is Ryan due? But it's
Do we
also
give it to Ryan with the low odds since we're actually going to put money in this time and see if we can hit one, get rolling. Yeah. We can go with Ryan's.
Are we going with Ryan's?
Yep.
All right, I guess we'll go with Ryan. It's gonna be 0 for 3 this time. So we're gonna go with Ryan's at what was it plus 3 what, Ryan?
356.
356. Okay, cool. Robbie, if you're keeping track, mine was plus 529, and then yours was plus 4.
Man, I didn't even check to see if I had a boost. I just fucking threw this in here without even checking. God, there was a 40% boost.
All right, well, if we're only doing $5, then Ryan can save one of mine for.
I've already put it on $30.
Let's go.
Heavens.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, this is not gonna hit anymore. It's just not gonna hit.
Yep, GG's.
All right. That was our parlay for the week. We'll let you know how it goes. We'll update you next week with our season rankings and what we did the week before.
We're keep track of how we're doing as a unit as well, because we pick one every week, so we'll keep track of how we're actually doing.
I like that. We're going to continue to move on. Last week we did an NFL head coach blind rank. We're going to do the same thing this week, but we are going to do it with college football head coaches. Gentlemen, it's going to be the same thing. There are going to be 10 names. You guys are going to do a joint list, and we're going to see how it works out. Obviously, there's a much bigger pool in terms of D1 college coaches.
Are we doing 10 again?
Yeah, we're doing 10 again. All these guys, you'll know, and so I'm pretty confident you'll be able to rank them relatively appropriately. I'm sure you have opinions and thoughts on some of these gentlemen. So
I'm sure.
Robbie went first last week. Ryan, you'll go first this week. Here is your first name, college football head coach, Brent Venables. 1 through 10.
Ooh. And this we did it as a career, right?
Yeah, just as a coach.
But are we ranking them as a coach or as head coaches? Because that is
as a college football head coach.
Okay.
So as a college football head coach, Venables has slightly disappointed, I want to say. I knew OU was in for a rebuild and retool after Lincoln Riley left, so there were definitely they weren't competing for a national championship in his first couple of years, but last year was a pretty big stinker of a year for OU fans. So
they still beat Alabama.
They did.
I would say Venables' seat is pretty warm if he has something similar like that. So I'm gonna put him at 8. Okay. I think you're probably gonna throw us a couple of more bums that might round out the bottom half. So
Venables is 22-17.
Yeah, it's not good for OU.
Yeah, I know. The step back at OU is fine, but
not that
500.
Yeah,
it's not great.
That's not how you keep a job at a blue blood college program.
All right, Robbie. The second name on the list, Ryan Day.
See, I just knew I was going to get Ryan Day, and it's such a hard one to rank.
He is inevitable.
He is really hard because obviously just won the national championship, right?
Yeah.
Great. Made a national championship a couple years ago when they lost to Alabama as well. Mm-hmm. But can't beat your biggest rival, I think holds you back from being in the top 3. It's the one game a year that he has to win, and he hasn't won it.
I think that's fair.
Too long.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him at... This feels disrespectful, but I'm gonna put him at 4.
People might be against you for that.
I do
just
think
won a national championship.
Yeah, but you have to beat Michigan. You have to.
You do.
We've said this before. I think Ohio State fans, as long as you beat Michigan every year, even if you want 1-11, you probably would be okay in the eyes of the Ohio State fans. That's how much they hate Michigan, and you can't beat them. So,
it's super tough because anybody on the outside looking in that maybe doesn't fully grasp the gravity of that game, it'd be what are these fans smoking? He's it's pretty continued success, top 5 program of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And they're potentially calling for their coach's head if he loses another rivalry game.
It's wild. Third name on the list, Ryan, Marcus Freeman.
I believe I called him a fraud.
I believe
You did,
you may
yes.
have.
Very recently.
Fraud alert.
Fraud alert. So we have Day at 4.
And
We have
Brent Venables at 8.
Venables at 8.
Mm-hmm.
He's
no.
above Venables.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
below Day.
Okay.
Agreed.
Just where in that sphere.
I called him a fraud, so I want to. No, he's had more success. I think it's a little bit disingenuous because if we're talking as a head coach, he has had some pit stops that have been very successful before.
I also think you're saying he's a fraud in terms of being like a top 5 coach in college football,
Right?
But he's still a good head coach. I think is where the fraud line is drawn.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna slot him at 5.
Okay. All right. Number 5 for Marcus Freeman. Next name on the list, Robbie, Matt Rule.
I left 9 and 10 open for you, buddy.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, okay, so let's obviously I have personal bias, personal bias towards Matt Rule. Terrible NFL head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Was really good at Baylor. Have to give him that.
Sure.
Nebraska is one of those jobs that people think that Nebraska should be really good. However, in the modern age of college football, it's much harder to be good in Nebraska than it was in the 90s, which is what everyone thinks Nebraska should get back to.
Mm-hmm.
I will put him at 9. I don't know who else is on this list. I'll be a little, because he did have a good run at Baylor.
Sure.
But because I think the Nebraska job is harder than people give it credit for. Yeah. But he's down there. I mean, and I think his seat is also rather warm at this point.
I mean, I got to give you props for not immediately slotting him at 10. I mean,
here's the thing. I actually disagree that his seat is hot because in just his first year at the 5 and 7, they missed a bowl, obviously, but he tied his predecessor's most wins in a season at 5 and 7, and they won. They were bowl eligible, won a bowl game last year. I think Nebraska fans are like thrilled for any semblance of hope in that program right now. So I'm not saying it's like, if he doesn't continue to improve, that his seat won't get warm. I don't think it's warm yet because they have just been so bad over the last.
I mean, they have Dylan Raiola too. Like you would think this year he takes another step up. If they could figure out how to win 1-possession games, Nebraska would be cooking. I mean, they just cannot pull out any of those clutch wins. So we'll see if Raiola with another season under his belt, if he can turn it around a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan, your next name on the list, Mike Gundy.
Gundy is top 3 because of just he has to be up there in tenure. I'm just talking like longest tenured D1 coach in the country at this point. He's got to be very close to the top. Mm-hmm. I'm sure my co-host will look that up for me as I'm riffing here.
I got you.
But what's it been? 20 years?
Around that. It's got to be around that right now.
Yeah.
Gundy, head coach.
He is the second longest tenured coach behind Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
Yeah, Gundy.
That's crazy. Yeah,
he's tied with Kyle Whittingham at Utah.
As much as like we give Gundy shit and like sometimes not winning big games and makes some like bonehead coordinator hires and just like certain things that like we don't just agree with. I'm slotting him. I think he's above Day. I think I slot him at. I think I slot him at 3. I think I slot Gundy at 3. I think people need to understand. Besides like the couple years that Jimmy Johnson was at Oklahoma State, like Gundy is the best coach the Cowboys have ever had.
Yeah,
and it's not really close. If you look at what was that stat? It was the NCAA football when they were going around like paying royalties to all these programs that they like had them separated by tier lists and like the top tier programs.
Oklahoma State. Yeah. I remember this.
And Oklahoma State was like one of 11 or 12 programs that got paid in the top echelon, and and for the time period they used, Gundy has been the coach the entire time. So like
It's just tough because he's only won the Big 12 one time.
See,
I
this
know.
is my thing.
I know.
That's why I wouldn't put him top 3. He hasn't really won. I mean, he's been there for a long time. They've won a lot of games, but one conference championship in over 20
I'm with
years
that.
is.
I don't.
I wouldn't put him that high, but I do understand.
Yeah,
I think the longevity and like they're not even the best D1 program in their state of like 4 million people. Like historically, like before Gundy got there, and now at least they beat OU a couple times. And
last year was the first time since 2005 they didn't make a bowl. So
correct, yeah. No, his consistency is like the top amongst college football. But I've always been of the opinion that like Gundy just has a very clear ceiling, like in terms of his his play style, in terms of like the people in hires, in terms of his recruiting. I don't think Mike Gundy is ever going to get you a national championship ever. I just don't think it happens especially in the modern day with the NIT stuff NIL stuff and everything. I just don't think Gundy has that ability to put like he'll get you 10 wins a season, he'll get you to a bowl game every year, but he doesn't have that next upper echelon thing.
Yeah,
that I think some coaches do.
It's dual sided because he has always done more with less. Like if you look at Oklahoma State's like recruiting from like 3-star perspectives, for a team that's like perennial top 20, they have the lowest like average stars of any of these teams that come in, so they always do more with less, but they're not pulling in 5 stars, and that again kind of talks to him not being able to recruit those top end dudes.
Well, that's what I keep telling other people. Like in this upcoming season, we have no idea what the team's going to be. That's exactly when Gundy just gets 10 wins out of nowhere. Like we just came off a 3-win season where we should have been one of the top teams in the Big 12, and like we had so many seniors, so many returners, and these star players with Ollie Gordon and Brendan Presley. But like I had 3 wins. I'm telling you, like this upcoming season where we just have randoms, we're going to have 10 wins. Gundy is just going to somehow get us to 10 for some reason, but it's just I don't know. It's wild. All right, next name on the list, Robbie. Lincoln Riley.
It's another interesting one because a few years ago probably would have been thought as a top 3 coach.
Yeah, agreed.
Now, with how USC has been, I mean, you have, and speaking of like, situation, USC is one of the best jobs in college football. There's so much talent in California. You have all of the resources you could ever want. And they haven't really competed all that well since he's been there. What's open right now, Connor? Are 6 and 7 open?
Yeah, 1, 2, 6, 7, 10.
I'm gonna put him at 6 because he has had a good run at Oklahoma, but man, since being at USC, definitely one of the more disappointing coaches of the last few years.
All right, next name on the list, Ryan. Brian Kelly.
Where'd you put? Sorry, where'd you put
6? He put Riley at 6.
Who the fuck are we putting at 1 or 2?
There are a couple names I was waiting on. They haven't come yet. I'm really upset putting Ryan Day that low now.
I agree. I'm like Day needs to be at 2. At
correct.
This point.
The danger
Brian
of Brian
Kelly.
The way that you said that.
I mean, if a head coach has ever looked like a 5 on a tier list, like Brian Kelly's a 5 all day of the. I'm not putting him at 2.
No,
you said Brian
7. Brian Kelly is 7.
All right, we'll put him
we're in so much trouble right now.
Oh, that's so funny.
I really screwed us with Ryan Day. I apologize. That's on me.
All right, next name on the list, Robbie. Steve Sarkisian.
Oh man, you can't put Sark at 10.
I think Sark's going at 2, which I don't feel great about.
Man, we're really doing 1. We have left 1 and 10 open.
10.
This is
a fumble in blind ranking right here. This is
I was gonna say, I think last week was a lot better than what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, to Sark's credit, he's done a great job at Texas.
Sure.
Obviously had some issues at USC kind of outside of coaching. So I'm like, it's still not the worst, but I just don't love our position at the moment.
I got you. All right, second to last name, Ryan. Dan Lanning. Can't be 10.
1 or 10?
We're cooked.
Well, one of the last ones Kirby Smart. Like, what if it's somebody
I'll tell you exactly who I would have put above Ryan Day.
Yeah,
Kirby Smart, Dabo Sweeney, and I didn't really have a third, but I thought someone might come up. So that was my thought process. Probably should put him at 3. The fact they said it might be Kirby Smart means it's not Kirby Smart. Keep that in mind.
Dan Lanning at 1, and we're
I
not
haven't-
doing it.
It's going to be Kalen DeBoer.
The last name on the list going in at number 10 is Deion Sanders. Is going in at number 10.
All right. I mean,
So a little rough here. Okay, well, I'll read the list for you real quick. So number 1, we have Dan Lanning. Number 2, we have Steve Sarkisian. Number 3, we have Mike Gundy. Number 4, we have Ryan Day. Number 5, we have Marcus Freeman. Number 6, Lincoln Riley. Number 7, we have Brian Kelly. Number 8, we have Brent Venables. Number 9, Matt Rule. And number 10, Deion Sanders.
if I'm
Bottom of the list, I'm thrilled, actually.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, I don't really have a ton of issues with.
looking back on it, I would have put Ryan Day at 1.
1,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Like, not a
Like,
question.
actually.
But like I'm saying, they're like
Yeah.
Dabo, Kirby. Like I would put those guys above
Mhm.
Ryan Day. So
So day 1, who is 2? I think Brian Kelly at 7's low.
yeah, probably.
I didn't have a really great
Well, you didn't have a choice, really.
choice with that.
Yeah.
I think Day, Gundy,
You got
Kelly.
Freeman. But Freeman's up there, I think. Like
Kelly, Freeman, and
Lanning.
are like your top
we're-
5.
Disrespect to Sark. I think Sark is top 5 on that list.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you dropping? Freeman? Are you dropping Gundy?
Probably dropping Gundy.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
You gotta win something.
Ah,
you
I'm with
have
you,
to-
man.
I get it.
I'm-
You have
I
to
get
win
it.
something.
I'm there. All right, we're going to move into our next thing. Sticking with football a little bit, we are talking about the NFL and a big trade that happened this past week. The Steelers will receive cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith from the Dolphins, while Miami is set to get safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. There will also reportedly be a swap of late-round picks in 2027, with the Dolphins getting a 5th-round pick and the Steelers receiving a 7th-round pick from that draft class. What are our thoughts?
Steelers, what do we do? What are we doing?
Yeah. I don't.
I
Was it?
don't know that it's. Go ahead.
Is this another money move? Is there like cap savings? I just don't see a scenario where you're trading a healthy all pro safety who's in his like dead at his prime. He's like 27 or 28 or whatever for an aged all pro. And I mean, respect on Jonnu Smith, had a great
He's a good
season
tight
last
end.
year, Pro
Yeah, he's a good
Bowler,
tight end.
but like
But you
you
have
have Muth.
Yeah,
Like, are we running some crazy double tight end sets with
Aaron
they're gonna
Rodgers?
run.
Aaron
They're gonna run the hell out of the football. Apparently,
Yeah.
I mean, but
Probably.
I just don't. I mean, I break up the trade this way: Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'd rather have Minkah at this point. Ramsey's
Correct.
kind of in the sunset of his career, and
Mhm.
then you're trading down 2 rounds for Jonnu Smith. Like, really? I don't. To be fair, I don't know if this is a great trade either way because I don't think this necessarily helps the Dolphins all that much.
Mhm.
But I don't get it from the Steelers' perspective. I know they wanted another corner. They lost Dante Jackson.
Yep.
But I don't get it. I really don't.
I guess the only one that I'm trying to justify in my mind is like, which I don't know how they think that they are going to be able to compete at all. I just don't think they have the roster talent in the least. Like, I think the Steelers, for some reason in their head, because they have Rodgers on that 1-year contract, are like, okay, we have to try to
Win
compete
now,
this year.
baby.
But like, but why is Ramsey the answer to that? I don't think that like
They needed a corner. I mean, they did.
sure, but he's
but-
also old. Like, he's not
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey in his prime.
Correct. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a weird trade to me. I don't really understand it. I honestly think Jonnu Smith's a good tight end, so that's a bit of a loss. But I think Miami, like, that's Minkah is a good haul for them, I guess, for that. But I don't know. It's an interesting trade. Doesn't make a lot of sense to
And
me. on
Mika
the
going
other
back to Miami after being previously traded away.
Mhm.
The rumor on that was always that him and Brian Flores didn't get along. But then again, who did get along with Brian Flores? So like,
Correct.
it's a give and take
Yeah.
there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's one of those trades. I think it's head scratching in both directions because I also don't know that Minkah Fitzpatrick is the answer for the Dolphins to compete in the AFC East.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not convinced.
Yeah,
of it.
exactly. So weird trade on both sides. I don't know if it really helps either team all that much, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip the next thing, gentlemen, and then we'll go back to it. But we're going to talk about NBA free agency. Obviously, we talked about a lot of the big moves that happened in this last week, and nothing super huge has happened. But I kind of just wanted to look at the whole league as a whole and go through maybe some more interesting departures and arrivals in some spots. So talked about kind of the Atlanta Hawks and the Boston Celtics last week with obviously the Porzingis trade and the Drew Holiday trade, as well as the I guess it was just a Porzingis and Holiday trade. So Porzingis is now in the Hawks. I think that's a pretty good acquisition for them. Obviously, the Celtics have parted ways with Drew Holiday as well as Kristaps Porzingis. Brooklyn Nets. There was a bit of a trade. Cam Johnson going to the Nuggets, whereas Michael Porter Jr. It's the end of his tenure in Denver, which is devastating because I love me some Michael Porter Jr. But
Man's just gonna go bag chase now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who needs some offense and a bad contract?
For sure. And then Terrence Mann also joined the Brooklyn Nets, which is another pretty good acquisition for them. Also, D'Angelo Russell left to join the Dallas Mavericks. I think that's
a good signing for the Mavs. I think the D'Lo signing
cheap. He was like really cheap too, so that was a really good signing for the Mavs. Charlotte Hornets. How do you feel about the Trey Mann re-signing, Robbie? You like that? Is that a
I think he's been a good locker room guy, good guy off the bench. I think the most exciting Hornets news is getting Colin Sexton from the Jazz. I think that's a really good pickup for the team.
What about Mason Plumlee's 1-year deal?
We love the Plumlees, I guess. I don't get it. The Plumlees and the Zellers love Charlotte. But I think they've done a fine job this offseason. I still think they're probably pretty far away from competing, but if everyone stays healthy, like maybe you make the play-in. You probably should make the play-in with where the East is right now, but we'll see.
Yeah. Going down the list, this is all alphabetical order. I'm just looking at the things that kind of pop out to me the most. Ty Jerome leaving the Cavs for the Grizzlies. Like I said, the Mavericks. Kyrie Irving agreed to a 3-year extension, which was good for the Mavs. And obviously, like I said before, D'Angelo Russell agreeing to that 2-year deal. Spencer Dinwiddie did leave to go to the Hornets. Not that I care all that much. Shout out.
Happy Trails, Din Shitty.
The Hornets also just have no big men at all. Like we're just gonna run 5 guards. Fuck it. Let's small ball all the time.
So even though they got rid of Michael Porter Jr., they basically just got his worst replacement in Tim Hardaway Jr. on the Denver Nuggets. He likes to chuck up 30 shots a game from time to time, but so they got him on a 1-year deal. They also Dario Saric departed via trade. Going down the list here,
I mentioned them picking up Valanciunas to play him and
yes.
him and Jokic playing together. That'd be interesting.
Interesting. So, do you think they're going to start both of them, or you think Valanciunas is going to come off the bench?
Valanciunas will come off the bench, but they'll end up on the same court at some point. That could be interesting to watch.
That's really good. That's a really good 6-man big man. I mean, you can't ask for much more in that regard. So under the Pistons, Karis LeVert agreeing to a 2-year deal, which was a really good signing for them. Let's see, the
Duncan Robinson trade.
Yeah, the Duncan Robinson sign and trade. The Warriors really have not done anything except Kevon Looney left, which is actually kind of interesting because Kevon Looney was one of those key younger pieces. He's going to the New Orleans Pelicans, so lost out there. Yeah, I don't know what the Warriors are doing. To be totally honest, like I don't know if they know what their plan is. Run it back with
Steph and Jimmy, I
guess.
Until the wheels fall off. Oh wait, they're falling off. Like Jimmy is not him anymore, and Steph is just another year older, unfortunately.
I don't know, kind of interesting. Houston Rockets, obviously, there's been a ton of deals between
spending money like they're at the casino, man.
It's
just
wild,
we are all in.
It's wild. So Jabari Smith agreeing to the 5-year extension, Fred VanVleet to his 2-year extension, Clint Capella on a 3-year deal. he's coming back to the Rockets after 8 years, something like that. Kevin Durant, obviously. Dorian Finney-Smith with a 4-year deal. That's a really good signing for the Rockets. So, every signing that they make, though, makes me think that the Rockets are like established top 3 in the West this coming up here. I mean, they're looking really good, to be honest. Pacers not doing much except for Miles Turner departed to go to the Bucks.
It is a big loss.
It's a big loss.
So, going to the Bucks, Miles Turner is, which I think is a good signing for the Bucks, to be totally honest. I think that's a really good signing for them. But Pacers, I mean, if they had I guess, with Halliburton's Achilles tear, you're not really thinking of immediately running it back or anything. So.
Pacers and Celtics are not competing this year. So, I mean, the East is just an absolute crapshoot.
Yeah. LA Clippers, not much except for extensions and returns.
I didn't know Nick Batum was still in the league. To be honest, I saw this extension news. Didn't know Nick Batum was still playing.
Excuse you.
Dude, he was so bad on the Hornets, like so bad, and then went to LA and was a little bit better. But
He was getting some serious starting minutes for the French in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's true.
Los Angeles Lakers, the biggest one for them is DeAndre Ayton agreeing to a 2-year deal. Everybody was like super excited about this. I don't even know if he's going to start, to be totally honest.
No, he will. Who else are they starting? Jackson Hayes?
I'm about to say, brother, the LA
they don't have
are atrocious.
They don't have another center on the roster other than Jackson Hayes.
It's like whatever, man. Aiden's fine. Like I just don't think he's that good. But
I don't think they do either. Like look at his contract. Like it's not like he got thrown a bag.
To be fair for the Lakers, I think it's a decent signing because he was pretty cheap. And for Aiden, you're playing with Luka and LeBron. Like this is the best opportunity you could ever have to get a bag in the next contract. Like it makes sense for both sides. Does it get the Lakers up into being like a contender in the West? Probably not. But it makes sense, I think, from both sides.
Sure. Memphis Grizzlies, not a ton outside of the Desmond Bain trade that happened, and there was a lot of moving parts of that and everything. Jaren Jackson
Jr. getting his bag.
5-year extension. Yeah, absolutely getting a bag there. But most of the other stuff comes from the Desmond Bain trade. Miami Heat not really doing anything other than returning Davion Mitchell. Milwaukee Bucks have a lot of extensions. Kevin Porter Jr., Bobby Portis. They also added Gary Harris and obviously Miles Turner to that 4-year deal. They did lose Pat Connaughton and waiving Damian Lillard after the Achilles tear. It's like not a great look for the Milwaukee Bucks.
There were some rumors going around that the Celtics were interested in Damian Lillard, so I guess him and Tatum can just like rehab together for next season, just like hang out and like do rehab together. I don't know, but yeah, it's a tough look to waive him after the Achilles injury. Granted, I don't think Dame had been playing the way people expected him to in Milwaukee still, but
what are the Bucks' financial obligations towards Dame after waiving him?
It's a good question, actually.
They're on his salary, for Dame, it's awesome. He's going to be making the double bag. Like they're basically still paying most of his salary for the next couple of years.
Right. So now it counts as like dead money essentially, but they're allowed to now be under a certain cap restriction. They're under like cap levels, so they can go sign more players.
I want to say it got them under like the second apron, maybe something. There was a lot. As someone was talking about, there's a lot of financial implications from it. It didn't really make sense to me, but
it was probably the only way that they were able to sign people to keep Giannis is what I'm gathering. That's brutal for the Bucks. That's just tough for the franchise.
Not a great look all around. Minnesota Timberwolves, some interesting re-signings with Julius Randle on a 3-year deal, Naz Reid on a 5-year deal. I swear to apparently Naz Reid's only 25, right? Sometimes I think he's 38. Yeah. I don't know why I think Naz Reid is like ancient, but
he's on.
Yeah, for real. New Orleans Pelicans have some interesting stuff going on. Like I said, Kevon Looney. Jordan Poole is now on the New Orleans Pelicans after a trade with the Wizards. They also lost CJ McCollum as a part of that trade with the Wizards. So some interesting movements for the Pelicans.
The Pelicans front office runs their team like they're in 2K. Like, what's like the cheapest guy who has name value that we can get? And let's bring him in and see if it goes any better. CJ McCollum, we tried that. Brandon Ingram, we tried that. Fuck it, Jordan Poole, let's try it. Did they win anything with Brandon Ingram?
That's true. That's a good point. The New York Knicks, this isn't official yet, but apparently based on Shams, and he's pretty much right on everything. Jordan Clarkson is expected to sign with the New York Knicks after clearing free agency waivers. OKC, Shea coming back on a 4-year extension, Jalen Williams coming back on a 3-year extension. So I mean, they're just trying to run it back for years now. They're just trying to go back, do it again and again. So we'll see what happens there. Orlando Magic, like I said, the Desmond Bain trade is the biggest thing with that. Gary Harris departing in free agency. Philadelphia 76ers, Eric Gordon's coming back on a 1-year deal. That's over right there.
Hell yeah.
Phoenix Suns, obviously a ton of stuff with the Kevin Durant trade. A lot of that is. So apparently that trade ended up being the first 17 trade in NBA history. How does that even
just occur? A bunch of shuffling second round picks and
like money, like it's just crazy, and role players and everything like that. But yeah, it's wild. So to Ryan's point, Phoenix Suns going to be a bottom team for the foreseeable future. So I definitely think that'll happen. Trailblazers, Drew Holiday obviously getting added in that trade that they had, and losing Anthony Simons as well as DeAndre Ayton. So the Trailblazers are going to be real bad again.
Bad again. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Sacramento Kings, Dennis Schroeder agrees to a 3-year deal. Other than losing Valanciunas, not a ton to say there. Same with the Spurs, not a ton to say. Toronto Raptors, Pirtle signed a huge 4-year extension, so shout out to him, man, getting the bag. Utah Jazz getting Nurkic.
The only pickup the Jazz got this offseason is Joseph Nurkic.
Yeah, that's it.
Holy tank.
Yeah, it's shameless.
That is shameless tanking.
They got worse, I think.
Yeah.
You lost Sexton and you lost Clarkson, who were like two of the better players on the team. Like,
yes, correct. You're getting it.
AJ DiPensania, here we come.
Bradley Beal would be right at home at the Jazz.
That's a good call.
Take on that contract and just command the tank.
That is shameless. That is absurd.
They don't care, dude. And then the Washington Wizards, a lot of trades going on with them. They got TJ McCollum, Dylan Jones, Kelly Olynyk, Cam Whitmore, trading with everybody in the NBA. Losing Sadiq Bey, Jordan Poole. And so, yeah, I mean, that is the landscape of the NBA as it currently stands. So,
Connor, before we get off the NBA, we know you didn't have any specific TikTok comments to respond to? I had one that I would like to call out.
Yeah, please.
So, we talked about Lonzo Ball in that trade last week for Okoro. Yep. And I said I didn't care at all, and I still don't care. But yeah, someone said, here's the comment from Smitty Groom Room. Zoe Ball can't be scouted by casual. As soon as Buddy said how many points he averaged, you knew he didn't understand everything Zoe brings to a game. I have a question for you. Is there like a big baller brand like Patreon to pay into where you can watch Lonzo Ball play basketball? Because he sure as hell hasn't been playing any basketball on TV in the last 4 years. I don't even know how you're supposed to scout him. He's played 70 games in 4 years. So you got that link. Feel free to drop it in.
It's that low?
He didn't play for 2 straight years.
He had multiple knee surgeries. Yeah.
So if you have a way of scouting him that I'm missing out on, that's on me, brother. Go ahead and drop that link in. But come on. He might bring something. But how do you even know he hasn't played meaningful basketball in 4 years? So sorry, I just had to throw that out there. Thank you for your time.
Ryan, I posted the clip of the Byron Buxton clip on TikTok today, and he hit a home run today. So you were just a week behind.
And the fan that caught that ball, did you see the guy catch it? Fucking snag that shit at a left center. Leans into the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
And just fucking
was it glove or barehanded?
Barehanded. Beer in the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nuts.
All right, we're going to move on to our next thing here, which is a little bit of a draft. We're going to do a 4-round draft. This was proposed by Robbie, so
we're going to ask.
Facts.
We're going to select
mascot
an NFL.
Naming. Here we go.
We're going to select an NFL team, a college football team, an NBA team, and an MLB team. But the catch is that we have to select teams that essentially we would root for if we didn't root for the teams that we currently root for. So I think we go around here. So I'll start off. So my NFL team is the Dallas Cowboys. My college football team is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. My NBA team is the Dallas Mavericks. And my MLB team is the Texas Rangers. Let's go next.
Go ahead.
Hi. I'm Ryan Doyle.
Hi, Ryan.
NFL team is long-standing sadness in the Dallas Cowboys. NBA team is the Dallas Mavericks, even though they're trying to make me not be a fan. College football team is the Alabama Crimson Tide, but was raised an Oklahoma State fan, and MLB team is the Rangers and the Reds. Honestly, they're my AL/NL team at this point.
I like that.
Hi, I'm Robbie Bergstone. Ryan was just complaining about his teams, but you're going to hear my teams, and you're going to groan and just feel bad for me in general. NFL team being the Carolina Panthers. College football, Alabama Crimson Tide. That's nice. Grew up a USC fan as well, Southern Cal. My NBA team is the worst team in the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets.
The Jazz?
The worst franchise. The worst franchise in the last 20
yeah.
years. And then for my MLB team is the Atlanta Braves. So
there you go. Okay, so do we want to? We'll just stick to one kind of league per round. So I'm thinking we do NFL first, and do we have a wheel spin that we want to decide the order? For me, this is more of there's a little bit of thought I'm putting into this, but it's also some of it's just gut feeling, like teams that I just like more than others for whatever reason. And I have a few on this list that I know Ryan does not like, so I think he'll be interested in some of the ones.
All right, so I'm going to go first, then it's Ryan, then it's Connor. We'll snake back each way. So
yeah.
Ryan will get all this pick sniped. All right. For the NFL team, I would choose if I were to leave the Carolina Panthers fandom or the franchise folded. I lived here for 6 months. They love this team up in Indiana. It's probably their number one go-to team from the state of Indiana. I'd be an Indianapolis Colts fan. It's tough sledding right now, but good history there. Awesome fan base. I'd be a Colts fan. For
AR's going to turn it around, man. He's
sure.
He's so close.
He's right there. He's on the edge.
Yeah. All right, Ryan's next.
Yeah, so I said Cowboys. Currently live in Cincinnati, so I'm going to also say like the Bengals are kind of off the table at this point. So let's just break down who I'm closest to. Actually, the closest team would be the Colts, right? Which I've therefore have been taken. The next closest team is the Cleveland Browns.
Hey, I mean, how much do you yourself?
And then, but after that, it would be Detroit, and then either like the Titans or the Steelers. If we're just going off of like
Chicago's not super far away either.
Yeah, Chicago's like 5-ish hours, so it's just like a little bit farther than Nashville. I don't really want to be an Illinois sports fan. I think I'm going to go with the Lions on this one, and it's a little bit of like recent success, but it's also kind of what Robbie said. Like they sucked for a long time, but they have always loved the Lions. It's a team that like has a pretty big following up there, and way better than the Browns. Like the Browns fans kind of like have been just kicked around so much that they no longer care. But no, the Lions, because they're good right now as well, also helps. So I think I'll go with them.
All right, I like that. For my NFL team, I've always liked them for whatever reason. It's always been more of a vibe thing. I think they have some of the coolest color combos in terms of uniforms in the NFL. I also have a ton of respect for a lot of the players that they've had throughout the years. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly the San Diego Chargers. I used to be a huge Keenan Allen guy. I always thought LaDainian Tomlinson was really good. I really like Justin Herbert. And I think that, like I said, I think they have some of the coolest color combos in the NFL. They're also like kind of a little bit more of an underdog and like a little brother, which, I'm used to because like Oklahoma State, that's kind of the identity that they have. So I feel like that, they kind of align with that. So I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers as my backup.
The dozens of Chargers fans that are in, California, I feel so bad for them because every home game they
have to go back to San Diego.
I know there's no identity for them there. How do you go back to San Diego when you just built SoFi?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the Rams are still. I mean, the SoFi is the Rams stadium. Let's be real. Like Kroenke built that for the Rams. He's like, "Oh, Chargers, you can be here too." So
if you want,
they're just like the Chargers are just kind of homeless. Like, they don't really belong in LA. I think San Diego would take them back.
Oh, yeah. I think they would too.
Yeah. Let's go. I'll pioneer it back to San Diego.
Yeah, we'll start here on this podcast first. We had the first idea for them to go back. No one else has ever thought of that.
Nope.
All right. All right, for the second round, what do you guys pick? What league do you want to do for the second round? So we do this.
We'll do college football. We'll stay with football.
We'll do college football. This is one that is a little more difficult for me. I've been raised an OSU fan my whole life. Went to Oklahoma State University, so a little more difficult for me. I think just because, and this is for me, I think I'm going to go more proximity and location and semi-recent success. I'm going to go with TCU, the TCU Horned Frogs. I kind of like the purple and white combination, live relatively close. I think they've had to, obviously, college football playoff a few years ago. So I'm going to go with the TCU Horned Frogs.
Not so fast. I think so. This is going to be mine, and it's a multifaceted approach here. So obviously, being an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, like best team in college football last 20 years, like one of the best dynasties ever seen, right? The top of the top.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend, she went to Western Kentucky University. And they're the Hilltoppers, and they say roll tops.
I like
that. down there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They're they're pretty new to Division I football, and they've actually had some pretty good success in their conference. Easy drive down there, similar colors. I like that their mascot's Big Red. I'm also big and red.
Big
This is a
Red.
good point, man.
So I think
You.
I'm going to go for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
I like that. That's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
So like I could join Ryan on the like sentimental train. Like my girlfriend went to Kennesaw State, new to D1, but I'm not going to do that because I kind of already cheer for them. Like, I mean, why not?
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm not going to pick any other SEC teams. Being an
No,
Alabama
can't.
fan, can't do it. Can't really go back to North Carolina because one, they don't really give a shit about football, and two, I've
True.
like kind of grown up hating most
Bill
of the teams.
Belichick?
Anyways. Okay, all right.
Catch him dead.
It's the Jordan show at UNC right now.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go way out, just kind of in left field. Complete opposite side of the country. I think they got really good fans. Their stadium is awesome. It's like right on the river. Got good colors. Some recent success, but have never really broken through in recent times. Have been close a couple of times, never really gotten there.
Okay.
I'm go with the Washington Huskies.
I
just like the
they were on my
vibes
list.
out in Seattle. I just
I
like the
like that.
vibes. Like the stadium's awesome. So I would go with Washington.
There you
No,
go.
I like that. That's a good pick. That's a really good pick. And then Robbie, you're coming back. You choose what you want to do next, and we'll come back.
Yeah,
on
we'll
this
do
thing.
NBA next. I'm still
Okay.
I'm still kind of processing this one a little bit, thinking about it.
Yeah.
The Hornets are terrible, so it'd be nice to cheer for
They're
a
so
team
bad.
that's done something, at some point in the history of their franchise. That'd be cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I hate all the teams that are good in the NBA. This is the problem. This is
fair.
what I struggle with.
Yeah.
Just be a Lakers fan.
I was kind of a Lakers fan when Kobe was there, not gonna lie.
Uh-huh.
But since then, not so much. I'm actually gonna go back to my co-host team here. They've had some good success. Obviously, they're struggling now, but I'm gonna be the torchbearer for the post Luka era. Become a Dallas Mavericks fan.
Torchbearer.
There's dozens of them now.
Dozens of them. Hey, they got another tall white guy who's good at basketball. They're just keeping the legacy alive.
Okay, just real quick. Let's look at it just from a roster perspective. Ignore the injuries. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag. You just D'Angelo Russell's a great, 6th, 7th man off the bench. Like you got some really good pieces in terms of like you're going to be a
take
good
Kyrie's
team.
legs off a little bit, like let Kyrie rest some more when D'Lo's
Yeah.
out there.
That's a good.
If they can stay healthy, that's a team that should compete in the Western Conference.
Yeah, 100%.
Depending on how well Flag obviously adjusted his first year in the league and everything. So
Robbie's going to be the torchbearer for the the post to Luka.
I didn't even like Luka. He was fat, so
Jeez. All right, Ryan. Who's your
Ryan
pick?
is scolding over there.
my king, my Slovenian prince, come back. Cincinnati doesn't have an NBA team. I think closest is the Pacers. Again, we're kind of going down all those list of cities. Don't want to be a Pacers fan. They were just there, been on top of.
That's
the
why I
mountain.
didn't go with them to go with my second indie team. But
It's too easy. I don't really want to be a Cavs fan. Their whole history of the organization is just LeBron James.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to another team whose whole history of their organization is just one player, and I'm going to go to the Chicago Bulls.
oh, okay.
I
mean,
like
you
it.
get some
They're on
fire
my
gear. You get some fire gear with the Bulls. They got some good stuff going on with MJ. So
Yeah. I like
Yep.
that. For the NBA, so you guys, you didn't pick two. So I had 3 teams on my list. You didn't pick 2 of them. So one of them, it's blowing up a little bit right now, and it actually corresponds to the color of the shirts. The Boston Celtics. I just like Boston. I know. Hold on.
You can't be picking last year's champs.
I didn't pick
and the
them.
team with the most championships in NBA history.
No, they're the team I'm not picking, but I am picking a team that's already been mentioned. I'm going to because I have some family from the area. They're really good right now. Maybe not quite at the top, but they're pretty good right now. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers that Ryan skipped out on. They got a lot of young talent. They have the LeBron James history. Got some family in the area. So I got to go with the Cavs there. So that's going to be my pick for the NBA.
We have to do the NHL too. I'm actually upset that we're leaving the NHL out.
Okay, we'll do 5 rounds. We'll do that last round. Then this 4th round, we're doing the MLB.
Yep.
So I think this is. I have a few here. One of these Ryan would really not like, and I think I'm going to skip that one. So I'm not going to do that one. And one of them is a city that I've already done. So I'm going to go with my 3rd option here. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Orioles, who are a little rougher right now. A a little rough right now, but hey, colors correspond to Oklahoma State University. When I was a kid, I had a few teams that I played on, and they were the Baltimore
Same.
Orioles.
I was gonna say the same thing. They were on my list for that same reason, Connor.
Yes, sentimental value there, and I also I think that the little goofy bird is kind of cute, so I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Orioles for my MLB team.
So I think, like I said, I'm a Rangers fan, and now obviously I root for the Reds as well. So both of those teams are incredibly mediocre in their respective in the AL and the NL. But I think I'm actually going to go and join the legion that my co-host is a part of. I want to be a Braves fan.
One of the best games in MLB. And like the best surrounding area too, and
I think the biggest thing for me is how the Braves essentially have commandeered an entire section of the United States. I mean, they're the only baseball team from I want to say like fucking 10 states in the
Braves
Southeast
country.
Yeah, so I think they have like the highest percentage of the country covered as well as like population, and they've had some really good success. They're currently very good.
Yeah. Not this year.
Not the last 5 they've been very good.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the Braves.
I'm going to swing it out to the West Coast again, and I don't know if this is one, Connor. They said you already had the same city because the Chargers used to be in this city, but they're the only pro team still left in San Diego. They have some sick secondary uniforms too.
Mm-hmm. They do.
I see a lot of people talk about that as one of the better ballparks in the MLB, just because people show out in San Diego to go see the Padres play. So I was going to pick a team on kind of again on the other coast for whatever reason. I go to the San Diego Padres.
I like that.
They have a really pretty stadium on the water. Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
We'll do NHL team for our last pick. So Robbie, who is your NHL team and who would be your backup?
Didn't even think about it. This. My NHL team is the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. The last couple of years still haven't gotten through quite yet, but they're up there. I might snipe Ryan's pick here, but I'm going to go with the other natural disaster in the NHL, natural disaster bros out there. So we got the Hurricanes. Then out in Denver, really good team, won the cup not that long ago, the Colorado Avalanche. Really good squad. I like their players. Mikko Rantanen's gone now. I don't really like him anymore after his stint in Carolina, but he's with the Stars, so not a problem. McKinnon's still there. Good team. I'll go with the Colorado Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Good pick. I'm going completely off the rails. I want to be one of the first members of this new expansion team. I love their logo. I love the design and their colors.
That's a good pick.
I'm a Utah Mammoth fan, and I'm going to get some gear. It's
I needed them to be the Utah Yetis, though. That would have sold me. I would have been all in.
Utah Mammoth. That's great. So I'm a Dallas Stars fan, but my backup team. So first team, that is not going to be in the U.S. So if you're picking hockey, I got to go Canadian.
That's
I got to
fair.
go with the Canadian team, and I'm going to go with the city that is one of my favorite cities that I've ever visited. I'm going to go with Vancouver and be the Vancouver Canucks.
Canucks is a great mascot name too. Like it just sounds good. It rolls off the tongue.
It was fun because we were in Vancouver when the Canucks and Stars were like Game 6 or Game 7 like last year, and so the environment was quite electric. So I will say definitely a very fun hockey town, as you can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So two more things, and then we are going to wrap it up for the day. But quickly to announce, the MLB has announced the All-Star starters after the fan voting and everything. So in the NL, just going down the list here, we have Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Francisco Lindor, Manny Machado, Ronald Acuna Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong, and Kyle Tucker. Any reactions to any of those names?
A lot of Dodgers. It's like when you pay a lot of money, you
win.
You win. Yeah, exactly.
I don't really know how Acuna made it. I mean, he's played decently well since coming back, but he's only played like half the season so far, if that. Yeah. He's obviously very popular in the MLB, so that makes sense. But I thought that was interesting.
Ryan, you're a big fan of Manny Machado, right?
Yeah, Top 5 dick. Whoa, pause.
Yeah, he was like, hold on.
Wait. Crazy. What do you mean by that? In the AL, we have...
Jack, we clip that? Hold on. We're going to...
Yeah, I'm getting clipped.
In the AL, we have Ryan O'Hearn, Cal Raleigh, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Gleyber Torres, Jose Ramirez, Jacob Wilson, Aaron Judge, Riley Green, and Javier Baez. So that is the AL.
Shout out Cal Raleigh. We haven't really talked about him any on this podcast, but is on an incredible run right now in home runs. Already has 35 pre All-Star break.
Yeah.
I haven't checked. I know at one point he was potentially on pace to be at Barry Bonds pre All-Star break home run record. Wow. He was on that pace. He might have cooled off a little bit. Also from Cooley, North Carolina. Shout out Western Carolina. That's where Western Carolina University is. But yeah, we haven't really talked about him that much. He's probably going to break the record for most home runs by a catcher in a season this year, just based on the pace that he's on.
Cool.
So shout out Cal Raleigh. A very, very solid year.
Nice.
I got a couple of fun MLB facts while we're currently here. One of the facts right now are the Braves are 39-50 with a positive run differential. In case you
they just lost a game like 13-0 very recently due to the Phillies. So there's the fact they're still positive run differential is crazy.
Yeah, plus 4. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They have just been atrocious away from Atlanta. But here's the actual fun fact. So in the NL, there are only 4 teams right now that have a negative run differential. 2 of those in the NL East. It's the Marlins with a -71, who are ahead of the Braves, and the Nats that are -84. In the Central, it's only the Pirates at -36. The Colorado Rockies have a -231 run differential, sitting at 20-69. They are worse than the White Sox. I think it's like safe to say now that they are worse than the White Sox from last year. Year, 2 years ago, whatever. It's legendary baseball out in Colorado right now.
Just update on Colorado. I was trying to find the stats. So he's at 35 homers right now. Barry Bonds had 39, and then Chris Davis, Mark McGwire, Reggie Jackson, and Luis Gonzalez each had 37. So he's right there in terms of the best home runs before the All-Star break ever.
Jeez, wow. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
All right. We're going to get into our last thing of the day. So, all 3 of these guys on this podcast, I think we like food. I think we like beverages. You could argue that we are connoisseurs in both of those.
Potentially
fields.
Too much of connoisseurs.
Fat.
So we are going to do a 16-seeded bracket where it's all stadium food and drinks. And so we're going to get into that right now. So what I'm kind of imagining, I guess we can do like any sport. It's just kind of a combination of everything. Because, sometimes certain things hit at baseball more than football. But I guess it's just kind of, holistic is in our approach. But we can talk about it as we get into it. Our first matchup here, we have beer versus cotton candy.
You changed the bracket around.
Yep.
I did. So I changed one. I changed one thing. Right. So it's beer versus cotton candy.
This is an interesting one because it depends on what age you are.
Yeah.
True.
But that being said,
it's beer.
Yeah. Sure. It's a nice cold one at the ballpark.
Yeah, we gotta find a weekend for me to get up to Cincinnati so Ryan and I can do the 9 hot dog 9 challenge.
You on Tuesday home games, it is 3-2-1 night where it's $3 beer and $2 hot dogs.
That is
I can work from Cincinnati on a Tuesday. I could make that happen.
So it's $45 to do a 9 and 9.
Okay,
that could hit.
That's crazy.
And the tickets are probably $15 on a Tuesday.
Fun fact: the Rockies come up on the next one. Oh. So Rockies Reds $45 plus your ticket, which is like I don't know $15. Yeah,
they go crazy.
Next matchup, we have lemonade versus pretzels.
Pretzel, like the big soft pretzel.
Yeah, like big soft pretzel.
Big Johnson.
Yeah. Yes. So lemonade versus pretzels.
This is definitely sport dependent because I'm gonna be honest, if I'm out in the sun at a baseball game, pretzel's not really hitting.
That's what I'm saying.
Lemonade on a hot day, that hits.
Goes crazy.
There's a couple of like salty snacks that I would pick over a pretzel. I think like a good pretzel is really good. Let's not get it fucked up. Nice. But like at the baseball stadium, I'm thinking popcorn, I'm thinking peanuts, I'm thinking some other stuff potentially before we get down the list of pretzels. But so I'll go with lemonade too.
Yeah, we'll go lemonade there. We have next matchup: hard seltzer versus chicken tendies.
an absolute battle of the Goliaths here
This is a big
for
matchup.
your boy.
Here's what I'll say about chicken tendies. If I'm at a game
Talk to me.
and I get chicken tendies, even if they're average, I'm enjoying life. Like I'm just having a good
That's
day.
true.
Like I get some chicken tendies, I get some fries,
Honey mustard.
honey. Got to have the honey musty for sure.
Jeez. Yeah, for sure.
I would go chicken tendies. If I'm not drinking beer, I'd probably get something with like liquor in it for a drink. I'm not going the hard seltzer route very often.
That's me. It's either beer, liquor, or water.
Yeah.
I'm thinking or lemonade. Obviously, we just said that. But it's seltzers are like a distant third for alcoholic beverage. I think at a game, so we'll go with the tendies.
All right, we'll go tendies there. Next matchup, we have pizza versus nachos.
I love pizza, but nachos are just such a ballpark food.
But they're so bad. The cheese
I think
is so disgusting.
Nachos is the most overrated ballpark.
Thank
food.
you.
I'll say it.
Dang,
I'll say
I'm
it.
with Robbie there, dude. The cheese is gross. It's like the gross American
There are
cheese
good
whiz.
stadium nachos, but if they give you the ones
Sure.
where it comes in the pre-packaged container,
That's what I'm
and they're like,
saying.
not
Those are
about that.
gross.
But you put that Skyline chili on there, brother.
Oh, not you got to get out of Cincinnati.
Or some like brisket nachos. You could like,
Okay,
a barbecue
that- now we're
sauce.
talking.
I mean,
Now
I'm
we're
just
talking.
saying.
Yeah. So
Like-
you going pizza here, Robbie?
I would go pizza. Yeah.
I think I'm going pizza too.
Damn, that's crazy.
That is definitely an upset though. I would say it's definitely an upset. I don't know how these match up against each other. We have popcorn versus peanuts.
For me, it's popcorn, and because I'm under the age of 65, so peanuts just doesn't
do it for you.
really do it for me.
I just think about it. I've never gone to a game like, you know what I want right now are some peanuts. Like right now, you know what I need while I'm watching the sporting event is peanuts. Popcorn, different story.
You know what I think the most out of context like peanuts thing ever is like Five Guys. When I pull into Five Guys and there's just like peanuts,
I'd be taking down some peanuts in the Five Guys line. I'd just be
so
Man's
confused.
elbow deep.
Next we have frozen liquor based drinks. So just anything. It's a frozen base and some sort of liquor. And then versus hamburgers.
I think you did hamburgers disservice here, Connor, by calling them hamburgers and not cheeseburgers.
Bees sugar.
Oh, okay, no.
Hamburgers is on there, and if it's just a hamburger, I'm going frozen liquor drink every time.
Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, I think I'm with Robbie on this. A singular slice of cheese is really all it takes to take a burger from like a brick to like a top food. It's incredible.
Right.
And I just love a frozen liquor slushy. So just
we'll go with that. Next we have chicken wings versus souvenir soda.
This is a mid-off for a ballpark fight.
For stadium food, agreed. Yeah,
because I like souvenir soda.
I agree, but the souvenir soda shouldn't be moving any metrics for you, right? It's just,
that's
chicken wings,
expectation. Yeah,
chicken wings at a ballpark. Number one, they're gonna be ass. Number two, they're gonna be messy as fuck. So
it's foul behavior to be eating chicken wings at the ballpark. Like it's just because you know that everyone that's getting the chicken wings at the ballpark are going to leave the bones everywhere. There's going to be chicken bones all over the place. It's going to be disgusting.
And I'm reaching for my beer, and I'm just getting like fucking all
ring
like
fingers.
the sauce all over the beer and the seats, and I'm probably like, "Hey, can you give me a napkin?" I mean, like it's all sorts of just foul behavior.
Yeah. So souvenir soda.
Yeah, and I love wings.
Yeah.
Like, don't get this fucked up, but no, wings at a ballpark is bad behavior.
Last matchup of the first round, we have bottled water versus hot dogs.
I mean, you need one to live, but it's still not really a competition in my mind. It's
gotta
hot
be
dogs.
glizzy, dude.
It's got to be a glizzy.
Give me the meat missile. Give it to me with mustard and relish.
Straight down your throat.
Yeah.
What are we talking about right now?
The old hog hammer, the meat missile.
Okay.
I don't like hog hammer. I don't like that one.
I didn't like any of those names that you just said. All right. Next round, we have beer versus lemonade.
In an ideal world, this would be a summer shandy, which is a combination of a beer and a lemonade. In an ideal world, however, I would go beer.
Ryan.
Yeah, it's just a beer. It's just a cold one.
I mean, it's why it's the number one seed. Number one seed for a reason. Next, we have chicken tendies versus pizza.
This is a matchup right here. These guys were seated too low. Let's get that out. Let's get out in front of that now. They're seated too low.
I've had a couple of nights where these boys are on the same team.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest with ourselves.
Oh yeah. Honey mustard.
Chicken nugget appetizer with a pizza chaser, just get that going.
Jeez.
I'm thinking ballpark specific.
Mm-hmm.
And tendies gets into my head before pizza does historically for a stadium.
I was actually thinking the other way.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Like when I'm at games, like there's always pizza. Sometimes it's hard to find the chicken tendies. It's not always hard to find the pizza. So chicken tendies are sometimes only at that one restaurant in like right field, and that's the only place you can find them.
I think I just associate pizza more with like football as opposed to. I think
fair.
baseball is more. Yeah, for me, I'm with Ryan. I tend to think more chicken tendies when I'm thinking baseball.
Hey, we have a ton of pizza at the Reds games because La Rosa's is like a giant sponsor of the Reds. Yeah. So I mean, that's on every fucking concession stand.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like we're moving chicken tendies on. Me and Ryan.
I'm not upset with that at all. That's a good matchup.
Next, we have popcorn versus the frozen liquor.
Lim Jahee is going to be upset with me, but I think it still has to be popcorn.
I agree.
Popcorn is a bona fide finalist, really, in terms of baseball foods.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah,
Ryan and I trying desperately not to look like alcoholics and moving forward popcorn.
Just auto beer.
Absolutely fighting the allegations.
Beer versus liquor for the stadium foods draft. We'd actually get a call from our mothers.
And then the last matchup of this round, souvenir soda versus hot dogs.
They're great teammates, but one-on-one, it's hot dog. It clears, easy.
I mean, that's my, though, for me, because I don't drink, those are the gentlemen that play on the same team for me. It's the souvenir soda and the hot dogs. It goes crazy sometimes. We'll move hot dogs on.
Souvenir soda was the benefactor of a easy round one matchup, but then it kind of runs into the old juggernaut.
Souvenir soda is a great number 2. He's just not number 1. That's all it comes down to.
Here we go. This matchup's kind of interesting. Beer versus chicken tendies. A little
again. Guys usually play next to each other. It's tough to see them going up in a bracket against each other.
It's hard, man. It's hard. What are we thinking?
I think tendies has had a run, a run at it, almost Cinderella stature, but they did in fact run into the best combination of Duke and North Carolina, and our beer is moving on in the next round.
Yeah,
beer moving on. Other matchup: popcorn versus hot dogs. Tough.
It's an easy decision for me.
Easy. Wow, I'm a little upset you said it like that. It's so dismissive.
Listen, popcorn plays great at the ballpark. We all know popcorn's home field is the movie theater. His home field is not the ballpark. He's on hot dogs home turf playing at the ballpark.
He's making guest appearances.
He's
at the ball. Yeah. I think that's fair. I think I would also go hot dog there. I like hot dogs more. In those scenarios, and maybe the most predictable finals in the history of one of our brackets. It's beer versus hot dogs.
It was chalk at the end, it was always going to be chalk.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we thinking? Beer or hot dogs?
When I go to a baseball game, do I go to drink or eat? Is kind of where my head and my logic goes.
I wasn't even thinking about it that way. It's like, what do I get first? Like when I get into a baseball game, am I going to the beer line or the hot dog line first? And I'm going to preface this by saying, generally, when I go to a Braves game, we go out and eat in the Battery beforehand, and then it's just beer time. I mean, it's really that simple. It's beer time when I get in the stadium. Time. So,
I picture myself waiting in the hot dog line with a beer,
correct?
Not waiting in the beer line for a hot dog.
I'd be funny.
That's a good call. That's a good
hot dog.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
All right. Well, maybe the most predictable winner ever, but beer has won our last drink bracket. Thank you for spending the time with us, Robbie. Would you like to sign us out?
Absolutely for myself, Ryan and Connor. Thank you for listening. Go like, subscribe, follow Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the things. We might feature your TikTok comments next week. We didn't get any good ones this week, so if you have something to say to us, go say it so we can respond to you. But thank you again for listening, and please gamble responsibly.
Bye-bye.